Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Rarely Typical, a podcast where I am talking about living life with a chronic illness, finding hope, and living a life that is rarely typical. My name is Gerry Langan, and if you haven't noticed from the title of today's podcast episode, this is just going to be a mini episode just to tell you guys thank you so much for your support during season one. I cannot believe that it has already been 10 whole episodes and I wasn't sure if I should be doing this podcast based off of episodes, based off of seasons, or whether I was going to take breaks. But I want to make sure that I am living what I preach and I take a minute to just enjoy being present with my family. And as of this recording, it is the end of May. The kids are in school for another week, and then we're on vacation for 2 weeks. The entire month of June, I just want to be present with them. And so I decided that this podcast would have multiple seasons and that because it would have multiple seasons, I was going to take breaks in between seasons just to make sure that I'm grounding myself and being present in my real life. And I tell you guys all the time that I do believe that rest is something that you need to prioritize. I think that it is something that needs to be intentional and something that I'm having a hard time with, and something that I have been working on for myself is I'm having a hard time being still. And in the Bible, it says to be still and know that I am God. And there are a lot of moments in my life where I feel like I am constantly in the stream of busyness. I'm in a busy season of life because of the age of my kids, because of work and travel and all of these things. And I have a default answer when someone says, "Hey, how's it going?" I say, "Oh, I'm just busy." And that seems to be my default answer lately, and I don't want that to be who I am or who I'm defined by as somebody that is always busy. I am busy. That is without a doubt true. But I also just am living my life, and I am so thankful that I'm at a place in my journey where I'm able to just live life and I'm able to just enjoy instead of being constantly worried all the time. And don't get me wrong, I am always thinking about my sight. I'm always thinking about changing my medicine. I'm always thinking about when my next doctor's appointment is and all of those things. But those don't take over my brain, I guess, the way that they used to. They don't consume me the way they used to. And that's something that you'll hear about in season two. I've already recorded, I think I'm on my fifth episode. So don't worry. I promise that season two is going to be great. But I'm also wanting to make sure that I'm honoring myself and my family by taking time away. So this mini episode is just to tell you guys that I promise that the podcast will be back. I think the first episode is the week of July 4th. And I am already super excited about what the next season looks like. There are so many amazing podcast episodes that are coming at you, and I'm so excited for you guys to hear them. But in this season of busyness, in this season of working on myself and also figuring out how to be a young mom with a chronic illness and having kids who are busy and a husband who's busy and a life that is busy, I just want to make sure that instead of just being busy, that I'm enjoying the moments that I'm in. And I don't want to be rushed to do this podcast. I don't want to feel rushed. I don't want you guys to feel that it is rushed. And so, in order to do that, I am taking a month off. I'm taking a break and I'm honoring just being still. And with a chronic illness, we are 100 miles a minute, even though we're sick. And it becomes this constant battle between wanting to do more and not feeling like you're doing enough. And when I got sick and I was in the hospital, I was forced to be still and I was forced to look at my life and take stock and inventory about whether or not I felt like I was successful. And I think our culture perpetuates the problem of busyness. It puts busyness on a pedestal and it makes us feel like if we're not busy, then we're not successful. And I don't agree with that at all. I read the book The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry recently because my young adult girls recommended it because this is the season that I'm walking through with them. And it was so eye-opening to me about how our culture just constantly pushes busyness and pushes more and more, and we're not enjoying life. And with a chronic illness, I am traveling a lot and I am doing all the things and I am being busy, but I'm doing the things that I'm enjoying and I'm doing things because you only live once. I say YOLO all the time, but only someone with a chronic illness could understand. That's literally is something that you have to think about when you have a progressive illness like I do. I want to make sure that I'm squeezing the life out of whatever years that I get here and whatever time I get with my family and whatever time I get with my friends. I want to make sure that I am understanding that this time on earth is so short. And I don't want to look back on my deathbed and think I didn't do enough, or I didn't spend enough time, or I didn't take enough moments. So, in this season of busyness, I am trying to honor my body before it forces me again to be still and ending up in the hospital. I'm also honoring the fact that when you're diagnosed with a chronic illness, you have to meet your mortality. You face your mortality at a younger age. And honestly, there's a lot of bittersweetness to recognizing that you are not immortal and recognizing that there are some really important things that you should be looking at in your life and taking stock of. And there's a lot of things in our life that we take stock of when we think that we're immortal and we think that we're only 20 and we're only 30. And those are the important things. And realizing when you're in your 40s and your 50s and your 60s and you look back and you think, oh, I wish I hadn't thought that. When you have a chronic illness, you look at those things a lot sooner, especially if you're diagnosed sooner. And for me, this is a season of me recognizing those things and wanting to honor those. So, all of this long story to say, season 2 will be back the first week of July. I've got some really exciting episodes that are already recorded for you guys, and I can't wait for you to see what the next season looks like. Thank you guys so much. I have surpassed 1,000 downloads. I have hundreds of followers already, and I'm so thankful for your support of this podcast. It honestly makes me feel like I am doing something right when you guys send me messages about how much you're loving this. Thank you again for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for liking and following this podcast. And I promise I will see you guys at the end of the summer.